All right, folks, Chapter 7 coming up in Blue Collar Kaizen. Chapter 7 is Develop Yourself. It's not about you, but it begins with you. And I teach that in almost probably every one of my leadership books. I touch on that. And what I mean by that, you've got to work on developing yourself in order to develop others. And I'm talking about growing yourself, developing your character. And I'm going to read you the opening quote from Napoleon Hill. You can never become a leader without doing more than you are paid for. And you cannot become successful without developing leadership in your chosen occupation. So let me give you an example of doing more than I was paid for to increase my influence. First of all, when I started leading lean, I started reading lean books all the time in 2005. Then in 2008, I started reading leadership books. I knew enough about the tools. That was not the challenge. It was the people. So I started reading leadership books every day in 2008. And I've never stopped. I never will stop. And today I have 11 leadership books and personal development books that I've written. Personal growth, leadership development. But I want to talk about earning my leadership. When I worked in the plant, and I was an employee at a corporation. I was the lean at the time. I believe I was the lean coordinator was my title. And I was leading a Kaizen event. And the team had planned to paint all day Thursday. And I was a salaried employee, so I got paid the same regardless of how much I worked. But I was leading the Kaizen event. And I knew they were going to paint this. We had about a 10 or 12 person team, it seemed like. I can't remember, it's been a while. But we're going to paint an entire area. And when they got ready to get the paint, I was going to go across town that Thursday morning and get the paint, like 5 miles away. And it's what I always done, but that day they didn't have paint. Someone else had bought it. So I let the team down. I could have said it was their fault, the paint company's fault, but it was my fault. I didn't plan it. I should have already had it. So I had to drive about 60-mile round trip to get the paint that afternoon once I found it. So the team was done. They were leaving, going home about 4 o'clock. So I put on the Tyvek suit and I painted. I painted from 4 o'clock that night, afternoon, until 7 o'clock the next morning when everyone showed up. I painted all night long, making up for what those folks couldn't do so they could have their final presentation. Nobody told me to do it. I didn't get paid to do it. I done it because I was making things happen and it was my responsibility and I had let the team down. So develop yourself. Develop yourself so you've got that kind of character. When you do, you don't have a problem getting people to follow you. They want to follow you. Try to do better than I did, though. Plan ahead so you can do it some easier way than that. Talk to you next time.